Absolutely. And, I had a recent, say, interview uh, with Michael Heck. And we did it online just like this.
Great guy.
And yeah, great guy, great guy. And one of the things he said was, when I asked him about the most important project, he said, that he thought it was the coast. Now, of course, he's on that committee, but, he said, the coast is so important to the Gulf Coast, to Louisiana, just like you're articulating. And so we also have another issue, if you don't mind, and that is we have as you know, the flood insurance uh, is so, we're looking for money. We're looking for money because that's going to lapse this year. And we're looking for money for these type of projects.
Yeah. Real quick, going back to the coast issue and Michael Heck's comments. There are few issues in Louisiana that are as, I don't know what word to use, as pervasive, as ubiquitous, as universal as the coast is. If so the coast goes, so goes everything else. We talk about investments in schools, and we talk about roads, and we talk about economic development. If we don't get the coast right, if we don't get our protection system and our resilience efforts right, everything is underwater, and it's not going to make sense to invest in roads or schools or economic development. So this is really a fundamental issue that we've got to get right. Tremendous progress has been made over the last several years, but we have a long way to go. The National Flood Insurance Program that you referenced is another very relevant issue, and it's largely what we're seeing in the flood insurance program is symptomatic of the coast disappearing. People have seen flood insurance rates skyrocket, exponentially increase in some areas. It's not because the homes and businesses have sunk and become more vulnerable. It's because the coast is moving into us. You have communities, Braithwaite, the North Shore, St. John on the West Shore of Lake Pontchartrain. These communities have been around for 200 and 300 years, yet they flooded multiple times in just the last 10 years. Crown Point, Barataria, Lafitte, again, been around hundreds of years. If these communities had the frequency of flooding that they've seen just over the last 10 years, these people would have evacuated, they would have left 100 years ago. So we're seeing a change. We're seeing a vulnerability coming to our communities, which is causing flood insurance rates to skyrocket. So there's a really important relationship there with us getting it right on restoration, us getting it right on protection, and helping to make helping to address the financial sustainability of living in our communities. Because if flood insurance rates skyrocket, it's going to be unaffordable. Now, something that's interesting about Louisiana, I believe that much of the land loss, the vulnerability that we're experiencing is a result of federal government actions, the Corps of Engineer actions on how they've managed the river over the last 80 plus years. So it's an interesting quandary, because here you have the federal government through the flood insurance program jacking up our rates through the roof, not because of our homes have sunken or become more vulnerable because of what we've done, but they've become more vulnerable because of what the federal government has done. There's an injustice there that we're hoping to address through a change in the law on the flood insurance program. And
Now,
Gino and Michael Heck and those guys have been great leaders on that.